What is going on, guys? You're watching The Hungry Handgunner. I'm Nick, and I am back for a vibe check, truth check, gut check. We're going to talk about statistics in gunfights. So there's two ways to look at statistics in gunfights. I agree with the overwhelming majority of statistics, which is 3 rounds, 3 yards, 3 seconds, and that's all I need to train for. Or you take some sort of solace in knowing that that's likely to be all that you're going to need, and then training to that standard. And then there is the other side, which is like, well, in this little bit, conclusion, I'm not going anywhere without a plate carrier, 10 mags, my rifle, and a spotter. So there's a multitude of ways to interpret statistics as far as your course of action going forward. So I just wanted to share something that was sent to me, and in this particular case it wasn't used as a justification for not training regularly, not training multiple hit, multiple target scenarios, or not putting a dot on their gun. Frequently I have this stuff sent to me and it's like, see, you don't need that mag capacity. You don't need that red dot, you don't need that spare mag, whatever the case may be. In this case it wasn't. It was sent to somebody who said you might find this interesting, and I did. So I hate reading stuff to you guys, but I can't possibly remember this stuff, concussions, things like that. So 55% of gunfights take place at 0 to 5 feet. 20% of gunfights take place at 5 to 10 feet. 20% of gunfights take place at 10 to 21 feet. And it says 95% of all gunfights take place in 0 to 21 feet. So let's break that down a little bit. If you guys don't already follow Active Self-Protection and John Correa, you need to go do that. I don't get anything out of you following his channel. I think we've conversed a little bit, but he's just a phenomenal dude who has made it his life's work to take these gunfights where there happens to be video surveillance and then break them down into things that went right, things that went wrong, what you can do afterwards. So yes, it's armchair quarterbacking, but armchair quarterbacking with a purpose. Never learn from your own mistakes if you can learn from somebody else's, right? Sometimes you learn what somebody did was the right way to do it, and then going forward you can extrapolate that into your own life. So if you don't already follow Active Self-Protection, go check them out. There's lots of videos, really cool stuff, good information, I feel like, and it kind of is a rare glimpse into these things happening in the wild. So based on the videos that I've seen on John's channel, based on the stuff I've seen elsewhere, gunfights do take place typically, civilian gunfight encounters at a very close range. Even law enforcement shootings, typically very close range. So is there merit to training close up? Absolutely, especially if you can do that safely. Rubber dummies, I've talked about them before, they're great. There's no chance of ricochet from those if you're shooting anything other. I don't know that I've ever had anything ricochet that wasn't like airsoft or a pellet gun. So there is that. Rubber dummies are good, paper targets are good as long as your backstop is safe and conducive for doing that close up. And I know a lot of ranges don't let you, especially indoor ranges, so that might be something you have to practice in your garage, your basement, or home using snap caps or the Mantis laser training system. It's not even really it uses a gyroscope. Anyway, I'm getting off track here. So there is merit to training close up. There's also merit, just because that's the fight other people have had doesn't mean that's the fight you're going to have. There's merit for close training, and then there's merit for taking things out a little ways. So it goes on to say here, the average man can cover 21 feet of ground in 1.5 seconds. Don't know about the time on that. This is really the first time I've seen that thrown in there. So, but we'll go with that assumption. I do know that the 21-foot rule is based off of what was demonstrated, where somebody with a knife could close a distance of 21 feet before another person could draw, aim, and put fire on target. From what I've seen with various simunition training exercises and airsoft training exercises and things like that, and even real-world police shootings, that's true. People can cover a lot of ground a lot faster than you think, and it probably takes you and I a lot longer to pull our guns out, especially in an adrenaline dump situation, than we would like to admit. The average man cannot draw a gun from concealment in under 2 seconds. So I'm not average. It made me feel good because I can get right there around 1 second at my prime, normally 1.5 seconds, but still, all these things kind of go on to paint a bigger picture here. Average gunfight is over in 3 to 5 seconds. From what I've seen, again, true. 3 to 4 shots are usually fired. I've seen more and I've seen less, and yeah. Most gunfights take place in low light conditions. For that, we just need to look at crime statistics. It's light outside. I can see a lot further. I can see what's going on a lot further. Other people can see what's going on over here if there were any, if I didn't live in BFE. Criminals are not going to like that. Criminals are predators of opportunity. And anything that's going to increase their opportunity of getting away with things is something that they're going to utilize. Darkness being one of those things. It's dark half the day. Go ahead and put a damn light on your gun if you can. Train how to use it. Take a low light course. That's all I got to say on that. On average, 1 shot in 4 strikes someone. I wish they worded that a little bit better, but yeah, the moral of the story is that your marksmanship, doing bullseye shooting with 10 seconds between shots, goes way out the window with that adrenaline dump with somebody trying to hurt you. So train for that. Do some time pressure drills, shot timers, get your heart rate up, maybe do some cardio, then shoot if you can. And I realize not everybody can come out and shoot on their own property and do whatever. But if you can, or go take a class where they would at least demonstrate that to you so that you know it's not going to be like, ready, aim, fire, wait 10 seconds, do another presentation, get it all right. That's not how it's going to go down. And it says, more than likely you will not have time to aim. You must practice point and fire style shooting. I hate that. If you go back and you look at Jim Carrillo, who was, I hope I pronounced his name right, who was a New York detective, got in a lot of gunfights. He used the sights. So throughout history, there was just something I shared the other day. I believe it was Wyatt Earp's memoirs or whatever. He talked about gunfighting. And even way back then, and obviously technology's come a long way, society's come a long way in some regards, he talked about seeing his sight. It wasn't the guy that could pull the trigger the fastest, it was the guy that could pull the trigger and put that shot on target the fastest. So I hate the notion that you don't need sights, because you do. And that's another thing. Red dot sight studies are out there. I'm going to throw links to back this stuff that I'm spouting off. I'll drop links to back that up in the description, but there you go. It says, can you handle someone attacking you prior to being able to pull your weapon? Big thing. Weapons retention, making sure they don't get it, making sure that you have some sort of skills with your hands, some sort of martial arts. At a minimum, know that you can take a punch. Know what that feels like so you don't go into, oh shit, panic mode if somebody hits you right in the kisser or the nose or whatever. Can you disarm someone as well as retain your weapon? Weapons retention. Disarming people. You do martial arts for a long enough timeline, reputable martial arts program is going to teach you some of that, but I don't really focus on that. Does your current training reflect reality? That's important. And we don't rise to the level of our expectations, rather we fall to the level of our training. Now I'll put this whole blurb in the description so you guys can read it for yourselves. That's true. We don't rise to the occasion. We're going to revert to our level of training. We're going to revert to that muscle memory, the things that we have ingrained back there in the instinctual part of our brain that we have made habit. That's what we're going to revert to. And if this comes across as me lecturing you, please know that I'm not perfect. I'm definitely not where I want to be. I come out here, I train. I try to set a real world example as somebody that doesn't have ammo sponsorships, somebody that is just a normal dude. Like I don't really work in the firearms industry. If you count my YouTube channel as working in the industry, then that's a really low bar. I'm just somebody that does this stuff for fun, and I hope to set a relatable example for the most part. And again, I know I can come out here and shoot whenever and do all sorts of things, but as far as the dry fire training, nothing's stopping you from doing that like I do, and just learning up on this stuff. You guys can do everything that I do. So, and I'm not saying that you have to do it the way I do it. It's just kind of joining me on my journey as I try to get better at being a prepared self-defender. So I want everybody, the big takeaway here is be careful with statistics. Don't let statistics confirm a bias that you already have and neglect an area of training. Don't, because by that notion, none of us should carry guns, right? Because the statistical likelihood of needing one, very low. Be careful with statistics. Don't let them scare you, to an unreasonable level of panic and whatnot, to a state of paranoia. but don't also let them soothe you to a dull sense of preparedness. So I think that's really going to be about it, guys. I don't lecture you guys. I'm not trying to lecture you guys. I realize how this may come across, and that's not what I'm trying to do here. It's just one more thing to think about. If you have a training regimen or some things that I didn't bring up based on that one little post that was forwarded to me, please drop them in the comments. I am not perfect. I am not God. Don't claim to be. We can have a discussion. I realize this is a hot button topic for a lot of people. Everybody thinks their way is the best, myself included sometimes. So I would ask that we all debate respectfully and hopefully constructively. We can all learn from each other. We all have different experiences, different things we've been through. Some things change, some things stay the same. So stay safe. Keep shooting if you can. Damn sure dry fire if you haven't been. And try to get a little bit more prepared. I'm going to be doing my best to step it up too. So see you guys around.